In this video, I'm going to show how to fix a texture discrepancy where you have two textures sharing the same V-space, so they're overlapping and creating these kind of fringy, flickery things. They'll flicker too when you animate, so you don't want those. So that will happen oftentimes when you import a SketchUp model that has front and back faces, and the faces actually occupy the same space, so the textures are intermixed. There is a way to fix that I've discovered, so here we go. I'll select my object, go into the Materials tab, and then I want to make sure I've selected the little decal texture here. I'm going to click on it. That looks like bubble decals, so I think that's it. Come down to the texture thumbnails. Yes, that's the correct one. I can see the matching pattern. And then we're going to load in a texture in the displacement. I've loaded one here before. Let me load that again. What you load here doesn't really matter because it's going to end up being pure white, and you can adjust that right in iClone. So any image you have, you can just load it. And it also doesn't need to be any specific size. It can be as small as a single pixel and be all you need, because it's completely uniform all across it. All right, so I'll just load in this black. Don't add it to the bump channel here. Just add it to the height map only. And we'll add that. And now double right click on that channel. And the panel for adjusting the color will pop up, and I'm going to make it white by increasing the brightness to maximum. And that's all you need to do on that. Okay, now we're going to be adjusting the tessellation properties, or not the tessellation, but the displacement properties. So we come all the way down to the displacement section, or the tessellation section rather, and you want to leave the tessellation level at 0. You don't need that. The grayscale base value, move it all the way to the left, and then the multiplier value, raise it. And you can see you can pull that material completely off the surface. So you want to set it to just the right place, and that looks pretty good. And then you can, zoom in and out a little bit to see if it really is good at that point. The other thing you'll notice is if I send it out further, it's actually casting a shadow, and you probably don't want that. So to get rid of the shadow, go back up to the material section, and you can set the shadow threshold all the way to the right, and then there won't be any shadow. Okay, now we'll go back down to the tessellation and get that placed exactly on our surface. It looks like it's going to be pretty good at that zoom level. It's oftentimes, see, when you zoom out a little more is when it does it. So you need to zoom in and out a little bit when you adjust this. The further out you go, the more likely it is that the textures will be in the same space. That's just how Z-sorting works. So that looks pretty good. I can zoom out a little further, and I can see it's holding pretty well. So I think that did it. Anyway, it was just a small adjustment of 0.2, and with no shadow, you really can't tell that it's offset at all, but it made it look proper so it doesn't flicker. All right, hope that helps.